Hi there guys, it's Adrian here from IAmJadoreTV. I have another editing tutorial for you right here. I want to show you exactly how I got from this stock image taken right here, straight raw from the camera, and I'll show you how I changed it to this image right here. Exactly the same picture, just my editing style. Now let's reset this image and we're going to jump right into this video. But before we do, if you are new here and if you like what I'm doing on this channel, please hit that subscribe button, like and comment, you'll share your thoughts down below, and all the links to my social media and my Instagram are across the screen and in the comment section below. So without further ado, let's get into this editing tutorial. So first things first, when it's coming to editing, what I usually do is I usually have a vision when I'm shooting anyway, and how I want the end result to be while I'm shooting the model in the first place. So that's number one, that's first step that I do. Second is this magical tab down here, as I've said in previous videos. This is my magical tab, and again you can only really modify and change the profile if you're in RAW. If you're in JPEG, if you're shooting JPEG, this becomes blank. You won't be able to highlight it like it is here, and you won't be able to have all this selection. That's why another great reason I do have a video on RAW versus JPEG. We're not going to go into that here, it could get heated, but check that video out in the card above. But what I love and what I love to use is clear. I use that on most of my images. I just like the texture tone that it gives, so we're going to do that. As you can see, it's quite dark, so what we're going to do is we're going to up the exposure, and again I underexpose my photos when I shoot, because it kind of saves the detail in the shadows. So that's why I purposely shoot underexposed. So what else we're going to do here is highlights and the whites. So far we might bring that up, we might bring some of these shadows right here. Clarity, I'm going to bring that up again. I'm going to slightly bring this up, and now we're going to go back to the, now we've adjusted the exposure and how we want it. We're now going to go back to the camera calibration, and what we're going to do here, kind of give it the orange and teal kind of look. You want to move, I don't move this one as of yet. Normally I wouldn't, I may have to in this one, but I don't usually move this one because that is the skin tones, and you don't want to have an unnatural skin tone, so I usually wouldn't touch this one. But when we move the green primary, you can see it does change the tone of her skin. So this is like the only exception I would touch the hue on the red primary. 99% of my shoots I don't touch the hue on the red primary. And also what we want to do is bring down the blue primary. Now see, this is why it's horribly changed the tone of her skin. So what we're going to do is we're going to move it till it becomes a more natural color, and then desaturate. So then now you can play with it. I think there's just fine. And also another thing, I've kind of taken this a bit not centered. So what I'm going to do is kind of pivot the image. So I click, I had a little glitch there, but click the crop overlay, or you could just hit the R button as it said. And basically I just want to line up the eyes. As you can see, there was a line going across the eyes there. See how that looks. You see it's quite straighter now. Maybe a little bit more. You can see the line that's going across the eye. We want to try and make that even. So there we go, straight. Now I'm going to go to basic, and I'm going to play with the temperature here, just the blues. I'm going to bring that down a bit. As you can see now, it's giving it a more realistic skin tone as it's given us. But I do want a bit more of the orangey. So as again, it's all about trial and error. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring back some of this orange. So we can move that back to 0. This is kind of giving us now the natural skin tones. Now what we're going to do now, go to effects, and this is what I use for my contrast. I believe the contrast tool is a bit too heavy effect. I think this is a bit too much now. The dehaze tool, I don't know why it's this low in the section of Lightroom, but what we want to do is give it a bit of oomph, and you can see what it does here. It does give it a contrasty look, but not as much as using the contrast tool. As you can see, happy with that. Go back to the basic, and what I want to do is raise some of the blacks, some shadow here. And I'm happy with this here. Detail. Now standard, you will get this in the sharpening and the amount, but I always like to bump it up, and I kind of keep this down because I don't want too much. And if you have quite a noisy image, I mean, I used noise reduction, as it kind of gives it a kind of like a texture that I like on the skin, and especially nighttime shoots, it does help. So let's do 24. Let's see how that comes out. Now just giving it kind of a smooth look, automatic smooth look. So this way you don't have to come out of Lightroom and go into Photoshop and then do the whole skin retouching. And this model here, she has great skin anyway, so that just kind of just makes life a lot easier as well. And I'm happy with this image here. So if you want to look side by side of how, before we do that, what I do like to do, kind of like a signature, I like to make their eyes brighter. So if we zoom in here, I think I zoomed in too far, it looks quite grainy. Trust me, it's not grainy, guys. What you want to do is make sure everything's 0. And exposure. Bring out the eye. Click done. Then I'm going to click this bit here. Fit. Go back. And see here, that might be a bit too bright, so what we want to do is lower that. Let's say 50, even 44. Right there. Because we've got to have quite because of this shot, I did use the Prism 4. Kind of gives it a bit brighter here. So all you're going to do is click this, click back on the, because this is where the previous one was. As you can see, it shows if you hover over the spot, you can see where you painted over. So what you're going to do is click the erase. I think it's too bright over this side, it looks a bit unrealistic. So then we can do the flow as well. Let's do 55. Let's just make this one a bit darker. go back to fit, and I'm happy with this here. So what we're going to do now, you can see the before and after. And look at those two images right there. It's completely transformed, kept the detail in the shadows and everything, and we've changed the tone, we've changed the lighting, skin texture, and this is basically my workflow of the steps that I go through on every photo that I've taken. Now you can see this image and more on my website. The link is in the description below. You're going to check that out. You can see the whole set plus of more what I've shot of this model, Marcella. Definitely can check her Instagram out as well as mine. All the links are in the description below. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe. How does your workflow go? What's your editing process? Let me know in the comments below. Send a DM on Instagram. Love to know how you guys edit and what you thought of this video. So definitely catch you guys in the next video.